the Parkland shooting couldn't get any worse. Good morning, everybody. My name is Meow Meow Mel, and welcome to Coffee Thoughts, where I drink coffee and talk about whatever comes to my mind in the morning. Everyone have their coffee? Is everybody ready? Well, ready or not, because here we go. Before I get into this story, sorry for not posting. It's been a little hectic because I was doing research for this story, and then I got curious as to see if the person I was doing this story about responded, and he did, which made me have to go into research mode just to see what he said. But I'm gonna take his response and put it in a second video, that way this video doesn't get off track and be a super long video. Oh boy, how do I start? Let's just get in it. Now, Scott Peterson was a deputy for the Broward County Sheriff's Office who was working as a resource officer for Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School out in Parkland, Florida, where the shooting happened. He was seen by not only officers from Coral Springs, but there's also video footage of him going to the west side of the freshman building and taking position, whatever that means, but never entering the school. It should be noted that he is armed with a gun and he didn't enter the building. Now, Scott Israel, who is the sheriff of Broward County, had suspended Peterson without pay. After he looked at the footage, read the witness statements, he just decided he was going to suspend him without pay, and an internal investigation was going to happen. Now, Peterson had been with that sheriff's office for 3 decades, and he just resigned after had been suspended. Now, I'm a very suspicious person just by nature. That's a little suspicious for me because he was so close to retirement. Just saying. The department is also being investigated for how it had handled tips that were being sent to them, any interactions with the shooter prior to the actual Parkland shooting happening. But I'll get that a little later on in this video. Now, like I said, there is video footage of Peterson arriving to the building where the shooter was, but not going in. Now, Israel said about the video, what I saw was a deputy arriving at the west side of the building, take up a position, and he never went in. Also saying that Peterson should have went in, addressed the killer, killed the killer, adding that he was devastated. Wait. Okay. Go in, address the killer, kill the killer. It can't be that 3 easy steps. I think we are missing one step. How about, diffuse the situation? Now, I understand that is a high tension situation then and there, but I honestly don't know. But don't officers, which includes deputies, don't they try to diffuse situations before having to resort to actually killing someone? I don't know if that's part of the address the killer portion of that 3 easy steps, but that's just my thought. Now, Israel had told the South Florida Sun Sentinel, that's a workout for my already pronounced S's, that if investigations do find that our deputies made mistakes and didn't go in, I'll handle it like I always have. Like you always have? How often does this happen? Honestly, what does that mean? Like you always handle it like you always have. How often do you have this problem with your deputies standing by as a crime is happening? I may be reading too much into it. I'll admit to that. I may be reading too much into it. Again, I have a little hard not being suspicious of people. Getting back on track. Now, it said that Peterson was not alone in this whole waiting outside during the shooting. For some unknown reason, which is a little unusual for trained officers to do so, to just stand on the sidelines and just watch the shooting happen. Even experts have said this. Now, it's especially strange since Peterson is rumored to have been in the military, so he has military training. But again, that's rumored. There's no confirm if he is. Having been trained in the military, you would think he would be a little more prepared for this. Just saying. Israel's office has said that it hasn't confirmed, but they have not denied that there were 2 other deputies who responded to this shooter but never went inside the building, even though there's video footage of which Internal Affairs has and is investigating it. Now, Israel has put those other 2 deputies on restrictive duty while their actions are being investigated. And this investigation will look into calls that have been made before the shooting. Now, it said that the first call was made in February 2016, where a neighbor had called about the shooter, which I still refuse to say his name and refuse to show his picture. The neighbor had called about the shooter, stating that the shooter was planning on to shoot up a school, and the deputy responded, approached the neighbor, and the neighbor had disclosed that the shooter had knives and a BB gun. Now, the information was supposedly passed off to the resource officer of the school. Another call was made in November of 2017, so just roughly 2-3 months ago, or 2-3 months before the actual shooting. The caller had said that the shooter was collecting knives, collecting guns, and he believed that he was a school shooter in the making, and he was hiding these weapons at a friend's house. But the caller also said that he didn't live in Parkland address anymore, but he was living out in Lake Worth, Florida. Now, the deputy told the caller on the phone that they would send that message off to the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office, and they would handle it. There's one little problem with that. A spokeswoman for Palm Beach Sheriff's Office said that they had no record of receiving this threat. Now, Broward County Sheriff's Office was unable to provide any information of what happened after that call. Well, I can tell you what happened after that call. A shooting happened. What do I think of this? Let me recharge myself. I think there was so much mishandling of information before the shooting. It's bad enough that these deputies dropped the ball before the shooting happened with all these concerns. And it's bad enough that the FBI dropped the ball. I mean, that should be worse. But these deputies are there. They are getting calls. They should have, hello, editor. They should have, I don't know, talked to the shooter just to see what was going on. I mean, Jesus. Oh, stupidity across the board. And, I kind of want to throw the response into this one, but that would exceed me in all-time limits I set for myself. I don't know what Sheriff Israel is doing to suspend one person without pay but put 2 others on restricted duty. I mean, the only reason I could think of for that action in a logical, not getting overly excited thought process is Peterson was there first. He was able to arrive at the situation first. Then the other 2 deputies arrived. I want to know what those other 2 deputies had to say, which I was never able to get their response. Like I said, the next video is going to be Peterson's response. That one may be short, but it may be a goodie. Now, if it's confirmed that Peterson truly was in the military, because you can never know now. If it is, in fact, that he was in the military and that he had been with that sheriff's office for 3 decades. 3 decades! Peterson has already had people defend his honor, especially the one kid that everyone thought he is a plant for gun control advocates. But I don't think that kid nor the teacher, who I'm going to remain nameless because they're not a huge part of the story. What they don't understand is police officers and deputies, I assume they get the same training. They are trained for these situations. They go into this field selflessly. They understand that they are potentially putting their lives at risk. And it blows my mind that this teenager who barely got out into the world can say that he did the normal human instinct. There's a reason why there are some officers who are so good at what they do. It's because they go against that human instinct to protect and serve the community. The teacher saying that Peterson is being used as a scapegoat for all of this. Well, honey, less people would have died if he would have went in and approached the shooter. I'm sorry, he failed to do his job. That's just my opinion, though. It boggles my mind that there are officers, deputies, that can do such a thing. And I'm not bashing on all officers, I'm not bashing on all deputies. Like I've said, you're kind of trained for things like this. Now, trained, that's the key word of the day. That's going to be part of the next story, which I will hopefully post the next day. It gets more into Peterson's response. I'm gonna have a field day with that one. I think I did okay on my first cup of coffee, even though it's always a bad idea. And that is today's show. I am all out of coffee. Now, if you liked whatever I blurted out or ranted, please hit that like button down below. And why not subscribe? I don't mind. I won't hurt you. Coffee for your thoughts. Leave a comment down below and do share with your friends, share with your family. But you may have to give them this one warning that I thought I handled it fairly well. I do cuss a lot. And do follow me on Twitter. I haven't been posting a lot. Like I said, I've been so busy with this story. I'm horrible with updates. And I haven't been feeling good. Ever-changing weather here where I'm from fucks with my head. There goes that F-bomb. But do follow me on Twitter. I will at meowmeowmel1. And I will have that down in the description, along with all of my sources that I've looked up this story from. And I will see you all tomorrow, where I will have the response, hopefully. Cheers!